You know what? I'm just gonna be straight. I'm pretty hyped for this. Hey, what's going on, you guys? My name is the Raptor, and welcome back to another one of my Death Battle prediction videos. And next time on Death Battle, after Blake versus Mikasa, we have Poe, the Kung Fu Panda, the Dragon Warrior, versus Marvel's Danny Rand, aka the Immortal Iron Fist. This one, at least to me, was super unexpected. Like, this is a fight that has been talked about a lot in the community, but this is just one of those fights that I never really expected to see come to fruition, or at least not right now, and yet it's happening, and I gotta say that I am pleasantly surprised. A lot of you guys know that I've been waiting for them to use more animated movie characters in their battles, and I think this one has a lot of potential. I think this is gonna be really fun, and I really like Kung Fu Panda, so that's really cool. I have to admit, though, that if I had my first choice of animated movie characters in a death battle, I would have preferred something like Hiccup and Toothless versus Hero and Baymax, or maybe even, Gru versus Megamind, but I am totally not complaining about this at all. I think this is really good. I really like Poe, and I really like Kung Fu Panda. I think they're both awesome. Iron Fist, aside from the Netflix show, is also really awesome. So these characters are really cool. I think this fight is super thematic. I think it has a lot of potential. I'm just really hyped for it. I think it's going to be really good. But now let's actually talk about comparing these characters. So when it comes to Iron Fist, he of course is one of the best martial artists in all of Marvel. Like, he is in the top 5, if not top 3, if not higher than that. He is one of the best of the best. There's no doubt about that. And when it comes to the combat in Kung Fu Panda, of course, being an animated kids movie, it's more about what looks cool rather than sticking to a very specific form of martial arts. And of course, we know that Iron Fist has mastered so many different martial arts over the course of his career. So if we're looking at just that specifically, like looking at the actual fighting skill that they got from their training, then Iron Fist should have the advantage, like 100%. There's no doubt about that. He is just the better fighter. But where Poe really shines is not necessarily in his fighting ability, at least not when compared to Iron Fist, but it's more so in his special abilities that he gets from his training and that he got from his chi in the third movie. Now, Kung Fu Panda and just Poe in general has a lot more material than you might think. Of course, he has the 3 movies, everybody knows about those. He also had 2 different TV shows. He had Legends of Awesomeness and Paws of Destiny, both great shows, at least in my opinion. And of course, being a DreamWorks character, there are some shorts that came out with this character. There was Secrets of the Furious 5, which just come to mind at the top of my head. Granted, that didn't add too much to Poe in terms of power, but still just wanted to throw it out there. And there might be some things I'm missing as well that I just didn't see or didn't read. I don't know if there's like a Kung Fu Panda comic or something, maybe. Regardless, though, there is quite a bit of material for Poe, and especially in the TV shows, they really expand on what the Kung Fu in Kung Fu Panda can really do. Now, of course, all the abilities that Poe has been able to do over the years, or at least over the course of those shows, sometimes he needs like some sort of special artifact in order to be able to pull those off, so every single thing that he's done, he's not able to do whenever he wants to, but he's still able to do a lot. There is a lot of crazy abilities that Poe has. So if we just want to go over these characters' lists of abilities, of course, I'm not going to be able to mention everything because there's a lot these guys can do, but just some of the basics. Of course, Iron Fist can manipulate his chi in order to increase his physical capabilities. He got even better with this after he acquired the Book of the Iron Fist. So now his abilities rest at like nice superhuman levels, if not already into the superhuman range. And this especially goes for his strength when he uses the Iron Fist punch. He also has some lesser known abilities like, well, of course he's knowledgeable in pressure points and he's a really skilled fighter, as I said before. But he's got some lesser known abilities like he can self-heal. He has some empathic powers like mind reading. Not all of them are the most offensive, but they're still there. He can also create nexus points between dimensions, which is really cool. He does have some other powers that I'll get into later because they kind of make this fight really complicated, but those are the basics that I'll go over right now. Poe, on the other hand, has some pretty ridiculous abilities. For example, he can induce paralysis or blindness through some of his strikes. He can also create a giant dragon chi avatar, as we saw in Kung Fu Panda 3, which increases his physical capabilities and allows him to fly. He can literally make you forget things by doing a hand wavy motion in front of you. This is one of my favorite episodes of Legends of Awesomeness. He literally just does a specific hand motion and you start to forget things like who you are, what you're doing, to the point where you will not be able to remember to breathe. It takes a long time for that to happen, but still, it could definitely help him out in a fight, at least for the short term. He can also literally break down matter into chi itself. He has a limited degree of soul manipulation. He has the whooshy finger finger hold, of course, and he can go back and forth between the spirit realm, among other abilities. In fact, when looking at their abilities side by side, it even seems like Poe has better resistances to some of Iron Fist's abilities, including the pressure point techniques that Iron Fist has, and the mental manipulation that Iron Fist might have. The reason because of when talking about pressure points, he was able to withstand Tai Lung's weird pressure point punches in Kung Fu Panda 1, whereas it was super effective against the rest of the Furious 5. And for mental manipulation, he's actually fought off both mind control and possession before, again, when looking at the TV shows. So again, it seems like Poe in general has more overpowered abilities, and he has better resistances against Iron Fist abilities, which is definitely something interesting to think about. It could probably take him really far in the long run. Now, of course, Poe does have more abilities, but again, like with Iron Fist, that's where things get really complicated, so I want to save it for later. I want to stick with the simple stuff for now. Being a Marvel Street tier character, Iron Fist can definitely scale to some pretty crazy speed. Like, it's logically could be around the microsecond reaction range, or if not 1 microsecond, then multiple microseconds, etc., which could put his speed around like 1/5 the speed of light in terms of reaction speed. Just to give an example, you could go a little higher or a little lower depending on what kind of scaling you buy or whatever, just giving you a ballpark estimate. Either way, it's pretty damn fast, and it definitely seems like it'd be more than what Poe is capable of, just based on what we've seen Poe do, based on what he could scale to, based on what was explicitly stated he could do, etc. So I want to say that Iron Fist definitely has the speed advantage over Poe. However, what Poe lacks in speed in this fight, he more than makes up for in terms of strength and durability. Now, in order to find out how strong Poe is, there's a bit of character to character scaling that you have to do, which, normally I'm really cautious about until I get more information, but it definitely sounds like it should be able to work here. So just to keep a really long story short, in the Paws of Destiny, which is one of the TV shows, there's this group called the Four Constellations, and one of the members of this group is known as Black Tortoise. Black Tortoise was able to destroy a meteor that posed a threat to all life on Earth. So that really, that really went from 0 to 100 right there. Now, the reason why this is important is because the master of this group, whose name is escaping me right now, he is, explicitly shown to be able, to be stronger or more powerful than any one of the four constellations. And Poe was able to fight on par with this master, which means he should be able to upscale from anything that any individual member of the four constellations is able to do, which means he upscales from this meteor destroying feat. Now, it's been a long time since I've watched a Kung Fu Panda, a Kung Fu Panda TV show, so I don't remember exactly whether or not it was implying that the meteor could destroy the Earth or would just wipe out all life on Earth, because those are two very different things. However, even if it was just going to wipe out all life on Earth, that still puts it in around the 100 petaton range, which is really crazy. That's still a lot of power. Now, when it comes to Iron Fist, Marvel has been around for a very long time, and there are some characters who have seemingly fought everybody, and some people like to use this as a way to say, oh, so every Marvel character can scale to every other Marvel character, and that puts every Marvel character at planet level, or beyond that, etc., and obviously I don't buy into that. There are limits on how you can scale characters, there are tiers for a reason, and if I'm being perfectly honest, I don't even think it's fair to say that any street tier can automatically scale to any other street tier, without doing more research, but of course that's a debate for another day. Regardless, though, looking at what Iron Fist can do, looking at his feats, looking at the feats and characters that he could reasonably scale to, I really don't see anything that Death Battle could pull out that could put Iron Fist on that ridiculous level that Poe gets to. Like, if you want to be fair, his Iron Fist punch likely upscales from Luke Cage's normal attacks, and I think it's consistently shown to be, better or just more powerful in terms of brute force than Luke Cage's normal attacks, or at very least they'd be on an even playing field, but I think you could make a case for the punch getting even higher. I think Iron Fist has defeated characters that are around mountain level or maybe even beyond that, so that's pretty cool. And he's also taken on characters that are stronger than that, like Poe. The problem, though, is that he's never consistently been able to do that for an extended period of time, let alone actually defeat them. What I'm saying is that there is much more of a case to be made for Poe defeating a character like Iron Fist than the other way around, and Poe's just greater level of strength and durability is really going to take him far, even with Iron Fist's superior speed. But now it's time to get to the really complicated stuff, the other abilities that I haven't gone over yet for these characters. Iron Fist has two abilities that on paper would present a real problem for Poe. The first one is his ability to absorb chi, and the second one is his ability to resurrect himself using his own chi. Now, again, on paper, this is a real problem for Po, because even if Po is stronger and tougher and has better abilities, if Iron Fist can just absorb all of his chi and keep coming back from the dead, there's really not too much that Po can do against that. However, that's just on paper. Po actually does have abilities that get around both of those abilities, which again sound ridiculous for Kung Fu Panda, it really does, but just hear me out. So, when it comes to the chi absorption, first of all, Po has that ability as well, so at very least they're on an even playing field. However, Po was actually able to defeat Kai at the end of Kung Fu Panda 3 by letting Kai absorb all of his chi and essentially getting him overloaded and just like exploding him with chi. So if anything, there's a case to be made that, that Iron Fist actually absorbing Po's chi would be dangerous. Again, at very least they're on an even playing field, but if anything, absorbing Po's chi might actually put Iron Fist at a disadvantage. So there's not really much of a leg up that Iron Fist can get with his own chi absorption. If anything, he's at a disadvantage, but at least they're on an even playing field. Now, the resurrection stuff is really interesting, but first let's talk about the spirit realm in Kung Fu Panda. The way that I interpreted it, and the way that I think that this is the way it's supposed to be interpreted, is that the spirit realm is essentially the afterlife for chi users. Now, we know it's not just the place that you go when the whooshy finger hold is used on you, because Oogway, he went there after he simply died in the first Kung Fu Panda movie. We found out that in the third Kung Fu Panda movie, that's where he went. And we know that Tai Lung didn't go to the spirit realm after, the whooshy finger hold was used on him, because he doesn't use chi, so he wouldn't have ended up in the spirit realm, he simply would have just died. So I don't think that the whooshy finger hold and the spirit realm are as connected as some people might think. It's just that the whooshy finger hold is a one-hit kill, and the spirit realm is where chi users go after they die, as we've seen with multiple chi users. Now, again, Po can go back and forth between the normal realm and the spirit realm whenever he wants to, which means that if Iron Fist kills Po and he ends up in the spirit realm, he can just come back to the normal realm, which again, essentially counters Iron Fist's own resurrection. Just like with the chi absorption, how Po also has that ability, Po also has resurrection by being able to go to the spirit realm back and forth, even if he dies and gets sent to the spirit realm. However, Po can also take Iron Fist with him to the spirit realm, and if either one of them dies in the spirit realm, they're not going to be able to come back. We know this because Kai died in the spirit realm after absorbing a ton of chi, mind you, and after he died, after he exploded, he wasn't able to come back. So it's very clear that if you die in the spirit realm, you're not going to be able to resurrect yourself. Again, though, this would imply that Iron Fist could go back and, or not back and forth, but he could go from the spirit realm back to the normal realm with his own resurrection if he got the chance. And again, this would also imply that Po would die permanently if he died in the spirit realm, but the point still stands that Po is stronger, tougher, and has better abilities. So, Po is still, better set to win the fight. All Po has to do is take Iron Fist to the spirit realm, and then either of them are able to die. So really, taking Iron Fist to the spirit realm really counters both of their resurrection, at least based on what's shown on screen. I believe that is the case. And again, Po just can use his better abilities in order to defeat Iron Fist and put him down permanently. So essentially, just to sum everything up, yes, Iron Fist definitely has the advantage in terms of speed and fighting ability, but I feel like regardless, Po has the durability and the pressure point resistance to be able to stay in the fight for as long as he needs to be able to capitalize on his ridiculous power and his ridiculous abilities, and he has ways to get around Iron Fist's most ridiculous abilities, whereas Iron Fist really doesn't have the abilities or the power to be able to do the same to Po. So in general, I do believe that Po is going to win. It really makes me laugh to say that, because Po is an animated panda, and yet, I still feel like he has, more going for him than Iron Fist in terms of power, durability, abilities. Iron Fist does have his own advantages, but I feel like Po's advantages are too extreme, and I think they're just going to take him further in the long run. So I think that Po is going to win, but I want to hear what you guys have to say. Who do you think is going to win? Let me know down in the comments below. I'd really like to hear what you guys have to say. If you enjoyed this video, please give this video a like, comment your comments down below, subscribe if you could too, that would be amazing. But no matter what you guys do, thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I'm really excited for this fight. I hope you guys are too. And yeah, that's it for me. I will see all of you guys in the next video. Peace out.